Hi, welcome back to GP Reactions, and as always, thank you for subscribing. Hope you're enjoying your weekend and enjoying this lovely Sunday afternoon. I'm going to be moving on now with a bit of Genesis, and this is the next track in their set list for the Lyceum Ballroom concert for the Duke tour, and this was in 1980. And this next track is One for the Vine. So this was taken from the 1976 album Wind and Wuthering. So without further ado, this is quite a long track, so I might conceivably pause this in several places along the way just to avoid any essential kind of copyright issues and fair play issues as well. So yeah, we're going to jump straight into this and see what it's about.
50,000 men were sent to do the will of one. His claim was phrased quite simply, though he never voiced it loud. I am he, the chosen one. In his name they could slaughter, for his name they could die. Though many the world believed in him, still more were sure to lie. Faith had died, fled back up the mountainside. But before the top was made, unmisplaced footfall made him stray from the path prepared for him, up on that mountain and on to a wilderness of ice. Stand and shake with fear, but nothing was his fright compared with those that saw him appear. Terror filled their minds with awe. Simple were the folk who lived upon this frozen way. So much surprising was their thought. This is he, God's chosen one. He's come to save us from all our oppressors. Oh, we shall be kings on this world.
So I'm just going to pause it there, sorry about that. So let me kind of see if I can get this right so far. So what I thought this, to be the opening verse of this, I thought this was about Jesus, but then I'm kind of hearing that people are dying for people and fighting for people. So I'm assuming that this is somebody who's following a leader, and they're carrying out the will of this one person to fight the battles, to die, and somewhere along there he's kind of got a bit disillusioned, so he's kind of snuck away, fled away, and he's suddenly ended up in a different place. It's almost like a parallel universe where he's fled from what he thought was an unjust kind of cause to follow someone that he didn't believe in, and he finds himself faced with a people who he's now being asked to be their leader because of the way he's appeared. They think he's kind of come from God, and so they want to follow him. So he's kind of become the person who he was running from, and just now he's kind of getting conflicted, I think, about his role as a leader. Like, he doesn't believe in himself, but the question is, will he convince other people to follow him? So that's really interesting. So I can knock that back a few seconds.
This can't go on. This will be all that I beg from. Let me rest for a while. He walked into a valley all alone. There he talked with water, and then with the vine.
So that sounds like a religious connotation. So I didn't see that transition coming. I felt it's going to kind of slowly build up to something. I'm kind of already kind of wondering what the talking with the water and then with the vine, talking with water and then with vine, is this like literally kind of the stuff that makes life happen, that keeps us going is water. We need water to live. The vines grow, so maybe there's like, we need to grow from the experience, or maybe it's just like vine represents wine, the grape, and wine. So maybe he's just getting up a bit of Dutch courage before he leads these people on. But yeah, it's a really interesting transition. I'm just actually going to go back a touch with that.
Travel across the plateau of ice up to its edge, and then they crossed the mountain range, saw the final plain. Still he urged his people on. Then on a distant snow, well, he took one without hope. He back up the mountainside. He thought he recognized him by his walk and by the way he felt, and by the way he stood up, and he vanished into air.
Ooh, that was Genesis, One for the Vine. That was epic. The, the epic imagery that this song evokes. You just kind of feel this is like storytelling through music at its best. And when I kind of said that, I think I said that the song was coming full circle, and felt like it was coming full circle with the tune had sort of brought us back to the beginning. I didn't realise that the story was going to come full circle either. So literally, he's become the leader of these people who kind of worship him. They followed him over mountains and through valleys, and right at the end, he sees himself stumbling down, losing his footfall, and stumbling down a mountain and then disappearing. So it's almost like this whole section of his world was like lived out on a loop. And that was kind of, that felt like a masterpiece. I really did. The transition halfway through into the instrumental bit, that caught me by surprise a little bit, but the song overall, it kind of felt like it worked in virtually every other aspect for me, and I could easily overlook that sudden transition. I liked the kind of quiet piano piece right before that. But yeah, I mean, the lyrics to this were incredible. I probably don't need to kind of really go through them because, for me, the story was very, very clear. It was about somebody losing his faith, and that made him kind of stumble. Um, and rather than kind of regaining his faith, he suddenly found himself in a different position where he had to be the one to lead people and gain their trust so that they would have faith in him. And I'm guessing it was the realization that it's not that easy to lead people, and it's not always easy to have people have faith in you, because ultimately he was only human, and the leader that he was following was only human, and sometimes I kind of get the religious aspect of this, and that kind of confused me at the very beginning because I thought this was about. I don't know why I thought this was about Jesus, or and that kind of confused me a little bit until I sort of read the 50,000 men were sent to do the will of one. His claim was straight, quite simply, though he never voiced it aloud. I am he, the chosen one. So instantly I thought, that sounds like Jesus or some other great kind of leader of strong faith. In his name they could slaughter, for his name they could die. For many there were believed in him, still more were sure he lied. But they'd fight the battle on anyway. And so clearly this was a very persuasive leader who perhaps used a lot of different tricks to convince people to kind of follow him. But the interesting thing is, as soon as he decided not to follow him, he fled back up the mountainside. Before the top was made, a misplaced footfall made him stray from the path prepared for him. So it's almost like his destiny was to be the follower and maybe a future leader. But he lost faith with what he was hearing with the quest. And I think that's where the kind of religious aspect kind of holds firm. And I suppose generally in life, if we lose faith in something that we believed in, it is possible for us to stumble into something else, and it's maybe not an ideal kind of situation. Or so I think in some ways the whole idea of religion and faith is is really important, and by maintaining faith, even if we don't believe everything a particular leader, a particular persuasive person is saying, maybe the overall journey was the correct journey to be taken in the first place, and that we shouldn't stray from that regardless of who is leading us. It's really kind of thought-provoking, really. And he talks about his conscience as well, which is important because that sets him in a slightly kind of different light to the leader that he was originally following. No, this can't go on. This will be all that I fled from. Let me rest a while. He walked into a valley all alone. There he talked with water and then with the vine. So you kind of feel that he's taken solace in being alone to talk. Maybe he's talking to God. Maybe he's just taking himself out of the situation to kind of think clearly about what needs to be done. And the water and the vine could, as I said before, for me could represent life. Considering life and considering how to grow yourself as a person, but it could also be literally that you just found somewhere quiet with water, and perhaps the vine represented wine. So again, maybe a religious overtones there, turning water into wine, or he could just meant he was saying a silent prayer to everything that surrounds us, um, in a more of a paganist kind of way. Um, and then right at the end, it's almost like a parallel universe where he's he's slipped into one parallel universe by falling up off the mountainside, and that kind of comes round to the point where he's actually seeing himself at the very end doing the same thing for the first time, and perhaps that person then, but does that make him the leader? No, man, I'm getting confused now. Um, but you know what? I mean, that was a beautiful song anyway. A really, really kind of thought provoking song, and I've just the only thing that this live version was missing was probably Steve Hackett. No, Daryl Stuermer's a great guitarist, but Steve Hackett maybe would have brought that extra element to a live set. But sadly, he'd gone by this point, and this was 1980. I think he left in 77 or 78. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. What a lovely track, and it's great to see these things kind of play out live as well. And to see, weirdly, to see Phil Collins as well singing whilst playing the drums. That always amazes me how they can do both things at once, or they can kind of be focused on maybe the drums after they've been singing. It's just an amazing coupling of two completely, I don't know, separate things in my eyes. So yeah, that was really impressive. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. This was a lovely song, and it's like just a bit of magic for me on a Sunday listening to this. And till next time, like take care of yourselves. And if you've got anything to add to the story around this song, please join me in the comments as always. Please subscribe, and yeah, you know what? Just take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll have another Genesis track for you soon. I'm not sure what's next on the set list, but I'll have a look, and yeah, join you guys soon.